2 minutes and 30 seconds. That can get you an intro, 2 choruses, and sometimes 2 verses, depending on how long the chorus is. That's all you get. Short songs, or at least short sections of songs, are quite literally running rampant all over the music industry. Just thinking of 2024 alone, so many of the songs were designed to go viral and really felt fake to me. They all shared this overly polished and corporate feeling that felt like they were just losing their soul entirely. And they all felt like they were being pushed out in order for people to consume them and not think about it. This feeling is certainly amplified thanks to social media and streaming services, but simply the song being shorter is more enticing to people due to them not having to consume as much content and don't have to think about the song as much. Now, this isn't always the case, but for the most part, it shows that it speaks to a bigger problem of digitization, making everything more efficient and compact. Stay with me here, but information from the American Psychology Association even says that since 2004, people's attention spans have gone from 2.5 minutes to 1 minute and 15 seconds. So that's a huge factor in what led to the rise of shorter songs. In fact, songs between 2 minutes and 30 seconds and 3 minutes seem to be the sweet spot, at least as far as hits go. Now, I don't want to sound like some sort of angry dad yelling at his children to get off a screen, but the screen is a huge part of why not just those songs, but things in general have become shorter. But this song length wasn't always the case. In fact, this is actually a trend that has skyrocketed thanks to the streaming services themselves. In combination with the decline of people's attention spans, artists have started to create songs that grab viewers in the first few seconds or have a memorable bar that is usually engineered to go viral. But back to the attention span. That's entirely half of what it used to be. And in the last 20 years, not like it's been over the course of 50 or even 100 years. We're in a time where things are changing so rapidly that we've cut something like that in half quicker than any decade in human history before. The digitization of literally everything has led to shorter attention spans due to overloads of information that can be distracting. We are now so accustomed to the constant stream of media that we seem to seek in order to keep ourselves stimulated. A statistic that is really interesting and helps get the point across is that people tend to listen to single pieces of music more, whether that be singles or songs played on playlists. Since 2020, it's been shown that 40% of all adults globally prefer listening to playlists compared to full albums. This again feeds back to the idea that streaming services offer so much personalization to get you to subscribe to them that the idea of listening to a full album with 15 plus songs becomes less and less appealing, and in tandem with the variety that a streaming platform has, makes the user want to pick out individual songs and listen to them in quick succession rather than a full album. The APA also says that there's a correlation between multitasking and stress. The more you switch between one activity or whatever it may be, higher levels of stress have been found. I think this for sure applies to music, as this idea of songs being 2 minutes and 30 seconds provides people with a sense of consistency, knowing what to expect, both format and content-wise. This is in part due to a phenomenon known as switch cost, which basically means that every time you divert your attention from one thing to another, you sacrifice a little bit of time that makes you refocus on whatever you got distracted from doing. Also, quickly switching between songs in a playlist can definitely have this effect. This is what artists capitalize on by attempting to capture your attention in the first few seconds so that specifically their song and not others gets listened to. More specifically, they need you to listen for at least 30 seconds for it to count as a stream, so it's even more imperative for them that whatever they put in the first fifth of the song is captivating and has a hook or a good build up to it. It sounds obvious, but it's a massive and honestly genius business scheme. And the funny thing here is that literally by listening to these songs, we're actively worsening our attention span. Since these songs are designed to be almost sound bites to achieve quick success, and since trends are showing that people are tending to want to listen to single songs rather than full albums, we are showing the artists that make these songs that we are consuming their media, whether we like it or not, and leads them to make more and more of it. So the more we listen to it, it proves to them that this works, and they can start experimenting with making the songs even shorter and continually decrease the time it takes to hook a listener. This idea of a 2 minute and 30-second song usually allows for an intro, 2 choruses, and sometimes 2 verses, depending on how long the chorus is. Typically, the chorus is the part that the song is most known for, also known as the hook, so it fits right in there in that it's not too many, which would be 3 choruses in most cases, and not too little, which would be 1 chorus. And this isn't always a bad thing. In fact, some of these songs can be really good and can actually be objectively good songs, but the problem is in the masses. More broadly, the problem that the music industry is facing is oversaturation. There's simply too much music and too many people trying to both do something different and do what everyone else is doing. This leads to a cesspool of music that sorts out to either climbing the charts or not streaming at all. This also means that the music industry is expanding at rates that we've never seen before due to the accessibility of making digital music, meaning there's constant opportunity to both find your next favorite song and for that song that absolutely sucks to be at the top of the charts. But enough of me talking about the psychology of this. Let's take a look at Rap Caviar. Look at all these songs that are right around 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And if we look at each of these artists that are behind these songs, like Central C, for example, most of his songs are this length or even shorter. He's also infamous for having notable hooks in his songs, like Band for Band or Doja. Looking at it through the perspective of an artist trying to make a hit record, it would seem that they think having 1 chorus wouldn't be enough to form a full song, and in most cases that's totally acceptable. I mean, it wouldn't really feel like much of a song, it would feel more like some sort of music clip, if anything. On the other hand, where I think the pitfalls lie is that artists fear making a song too long. They stick within this 2-minute and 30-second range because they fear the listener might get bored after the third chorus, but I actually think that's exactly why it's refreshing to see an artist have a breakout song that goes over this 2:30 rule. For starters, it's longer, which allows for more actual music. Back to what I was saying about an intro, 2 choruses, and verses. Essentially, any song over 2:30 can have a third chorus, which completely transforms the song. It not only allows for another verse, but it allows for another full chorus that can really tie the song together in the end. However, that's why you don't often see longer songs be as popular in most situations. But having these longer songs is actually a great thing. This means that a specific artist, even if they're mainstream, still knows how to make a song that's not designed to go viral. While a lot of songs may be this 2-minute and 30-second length, they can't all be, or else music itself in the music industry would collapse on itself because literally everything would be the same. I want to use one of my favorite popular mainstream songs, Take My Breath by The Weeknd, as an example because I think that it wouldn't be the same at all without its final chorus. Because the first chorus is essentially still setting up the song, ending it at 2 choruses would feel very abrupt and wouldn't really make any sense. And I'm really glad that The Weeknd didn't decide to go for the 2-minute and 30-second approach. Of course, he was still trying to profit off of it, but not at the expense of the listener. The single version clocking in at 3 minutes and 40 seconds is far from the 2 minutes and 30 seconds that we see everywhere. And the 5-minute and 40-second song we see on the full album, even though it still has an instrumental, goes even farther than the single, literally adding 2 whole minutes to the song. The effects of this are certainly apparent though. The song in the album, being 5 minutes and 40 seconds, has nearly 300 million less streams than the single, standing at 500 million streams, which shows that time is a huge factor when it comes to making hit records. Artists know this works. Even looking at an artist like Travis Scott, even though a lot of his hits are over 2 minutes and 30 seconds, the ones that are from before 2020. What I'm trying to say here is that literally over the course of 6 years, his average hit song duration has gone down. Just look at some of the songs that he's made since 2020. Now, of course, it hasn't been as drastic as most other artists, but it just goes to show the period we're living in right now is subject to change faster than we've ever seen in any other period before. The reason that artists do this is because they know that their best chances of getting another hit song is to follow this formula. And that's not inherently a bad thing. It's good to have something to follow to be successful, but where it starts going downhill is when all these songs are used as cash machines that are designed to be pushed out and consumed by everyone. But after watching all this, you might think that I'm saying that this is guaranteed to work and that we are doomed to have songs be shorter and shorter, but this isn't always the case. This type of song isn't always going to work because people realize sometimes these type of songs are made to go viral and can lack emotion that is needed for a truly good song. In the same realm, it's also interesting to take into account just how much luck plays into the success of these songs. The right thing has to happen to the right artist at the right time. Sometimes results in a one-hit wonder, while for others it can open up a pathway for an artist to exponentially grow their career. 2 minutes and 30 seconds can be one of the most transformative things ever, not only in someone's career, but in life. You can't argue that short songs are running the industry, and you can't deny that they will continue to become more and more popular, and unfortunately, even shorter unless some trend breaks out that transforms the music landscape. But thankfully, one thing we can take for certain is that artists will always continue to create longer music because the truth is, the mainstream music we are exposed to doesn't represent everything. What I'm trying to say here is that rest assured that both big and small artists all around the world are making songs that are personal to them that stray from that 2:30.